Okay, class, you have arrived. Finally, after an entire quarter, probably a little bit, that we've been working on code.org, we are now at the game design process. The last lesson, lesson 19, you learned about functions and you use them when kind of modifying and creating games. Some of you were messaging me and had some struggles with some different parts. I'm hoping I made enough help videos to be able to get through everything. If you still are having issues and problems getting things to work out, please don't hesitate to reach out. So this one, the game design process, we're going to go through an entire game. We're going to build a game from the bottom up, completely scratch, nothing on the screen, nothing in the code, to finally at the end having a working functional game. Now, of course, this game is one that code.org has designed and not one that you have designed. You're going to have to do your own in lesson 22. But I'm hoping that by going through this lesson, you're going to be able to see how it is that you can put all of the parts together to be able to create your game successfully. So, this lesson introduces the process the class will use to design games for the remainder of the unit. The class walks through this process in a series of levels. As part of this lesson, the class also briefly learned to use multi-frame animations in GameLab. At the end of the lesson, they will have an opportunity to make improvements to the game and make it their own. And this, of course, is kind of a very similar theme that they have had going on. Is they'll give you something and they'll have you kind of build it with their instructions, and then at the end they'll say, make it your own, make it different, make it unique. Which hopefully you've had some fun doing as you've gone through your different lessons. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to probably break this down into 5 or 6 different parts throughout the day today. So this is the game that you're going to be creating. It's called Defend Your Cake. This is an example of a defender game that you'll build by the end of this lesson. To defend your cake, move the alien with the arrow keys to block the ladybugs and push them into the water. So if we run this, we have a score, we have the alien here, we move him up, we move him down, we push these ladybugs off, and as we push them off, we get positive points, but if they end up hitting the cake, as you see this one here is going to do, you get negative points. You see how I went from 5 to 0 once I lost, I let that ladybug go by. So pretty harsh to lose 5 points at a time. Let's see if I still lose 5 points or if I lose more than 5. Okay, yep, 5 points off every time a ladybug gets to the cake. So this is the game that you're going to be designing. So hopefully you can look at these questions and kind of think about them. How many sprites are in the game? What are they? What variables are needed in the game? What do they store? If you were to split the code of this game into functions, what do you think they would be used to do? And what other major pieces of behavior you'd need to create in your code? So, just quick analysis here. We've got the sprite of the alien that we're controlling. We've got the sprites of the ladybugs that are going at random locations. We've got the sprite of the cake that we need to be able to see if it's touching the ladybugs. So, let's see. Functions. We have to figure out a function to get the ladybugs to start back at the beginning. We have to have a function to figure out what happens if the ladybugs touch the cake. We also need a update score function probably somewhere. And variables. We've got the variable of the score is probably really the only variable that we're dealing with on this one. And there we go. That just answers some of those questions. So let's go ahead and start looking at how we're going to create this game. So we go ahead and continue here. All right, before you move on, you'll need to look at the project guide for this project. Wait for instructions from your teacher as well. I'm giving you instructions. The project guide is right here at the beginning. So go ahead and download this. So you can click on MS Word if you're on a regular computer, or Google Doc if you're on a Chromebook to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and just pull this up and look at it together, because they said we're supposed to, so we might as well, right? Downloads, and oh wait, there it is. Here we go, project guide. Apparently mine's already filled out. Yours is probably going to be empty. So, building a larger piece of software like a game can quickly get complex. Starting with a plan can help you stay organized and identify issues ahead of time. A lot of work you do here will make it much easier to keep track of what you need to do once you begin writing your actual code. Start by thinking about what your game actually does. What does it look like? How do you actually play it? What will make it fun, interesting, or relevant to the player? So describe your game. So this here is filled out for the Cake Defender. When you do your own game, you need to fill it out based on what your game is going to do. So I would encourage you to become familiar with what's on here and how they did this and how they organized things, because this is what you're going to need to do for your game, is to fill it out and figure out what functions you need, what variables you need. All those things that we were just discussing are in here. It shows you, here are my sprites, here are the variables, here are the functions that I'm going to be doing, all of those different things. So we looked at that. So let's continue on, and we're going to run this and finish and continue here. We looked at the thing. All right. So now we're going to look at how to use animations. And you may already be familiar with it. No, actually, we're going to do that in the next part. I'm going to end this here. It's 7.5 minutes, getting kind of long. So join me for the next thing if you need some additional help in going through this step by step to get through these puzzles. If you've kind of got a clear idea as to what to do, consider yourself introduced to the project, and good luck on figuring out how to get this Cake Defender game working.